Nathan Wade, Fani Willis's special prosecutor and her romantic partner, billed Georgia taxpayers $20,000 for 6 federal coordination meetings in 2022 alone. This was a coordinated, organized operation by the Biden White House, the Biden Justice Department, and the Democrat Party to try to destroy their political opposition because they were terrified. This was the single greatest assault on democracy our nation has ever seen. Our Democrat friends are not shy about saying they're defending democracy, except when it comes to actually letting people vote. Nathan Wade, under oath, he was asked about every one of those meetings. Wade said, "I don't remember," but you need not take my word for it. Follow the money. Thank you to the wise chairman. Mr. Chairman, in the last hearing, we proved that Arctic Frost was no rogue operation. It was authorized at the highest level of the Biden Justice Department. And today we're asking the next question: who coordinated it, who profited from it, and who paid the price? Professor Epstein, on April 4th, 2022, Attorney General Merrick Garland, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, and FBI Director Christopher Wray personally signed off on opening Arctic Frost. Their signatures on a document authorizing a federal investigation into virtually the entirety of the opposing political party. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, Senator.
The operatives in Watergate hid their names. They were embarrassed to be part of weaponizing government. Here, the top leadership of the Department of Justice flaunted their abuse of power. Mr. Epstein, when power at the top gives permission, allies below move quickly. That's how Washington works, isn't it?
I think so, Senator, yes.
And Arctic Frost quickly grew beyond the Department of Justice. Are you familiar with the names Tim Heaphy, Jack Smith, and Thomas Wyndham?
Some of those names, yes. Certainly Jack Smith.
Heaphy led the January 6th committee investigation of President Trump. Smith prosecuted him as special counsel, and Wyndham was Smith's senior deputy. Does that sound right?
Yes.
And all three coordinated with Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney who brought the Georgia RICO case against President Trump, sharing witnesses, sharing documents, helping to prepare her witness interviews. Is that right?
Yes.
And when it was all over, these three men founded a law firm together. Is that right?
It appears so.
Washington has a lot of revolving doors, but this one spun from prosecution to profit. But you need not take my word for it. Follow the money. Nathan Wade, Fani Willis's special prosecutor and her romantic partner, billed Georgia taxpayers $20,000 for 6 federal coordination meetings in 2022 alone. 2 with the White House, 3 with the January 6th committee, 1 on that same day that Jack Smith was appointed special counsel. This was a coordinated, organized operation by the Biden White House, the Biden Justice Department, and the Democrat Party to try to destroy their political opposition because they were terrified that the voters would do what they did, which is in November 2024, re-elect President Donald Trump. And this was the single greatest assault on democracy our nation has ever seen. Our Democrat friends are not shy about saying they're defending democracy, except when it comes to actually letting people vote. And they're willing to use all political power to stop people from voting. Nathan Wade, under oath, he was asked about every one of those meetings. Wade said, "I don't remember." Anyone have a guess for how many times? 58 times. Wade's answer about those meetings was, "I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember." Mr. Epstein, when a prosecutor can't remember something 58 times, what does that tell you?
I think the inference is that he's not telling the truth.
I think that is a very fair inference. In your judgment, should the architects of this scheme face criminal prosecution?
I certainly think there is a number of bases to investigate the activities that occurred.
And what bases come to mind?
I think the way in which there was ignoring the proper constitutional appointment of Jack Smith, the evidence of potential bias amongst some FBI agents in the Washington field office, the ways in which there was coordination with the White House counsel's office in ways that I think was inconsistent with the proper interpretation of the Presidential Records Act and gave no ability for, at the time, former President Trump to assert constitutional privileges, the way in which the record shows that the National Archivist was clearly biased and made referrals to the FBI that were likely.
The hearing centered on claims that federal and state officials coordinated investigations tied to former President Donald Trump. Speakers argued that Nathan Wade, special prosecutor for Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, billed Georgia taxpayers for multiple meetings with federal agencies and political officials in 2022. Critics alleged that senior officials within the Justice Department approved and supported investigations that expanded beyond normal legal boundaries. Testimony suggested coordination between federal prosecutors, the January 6 committee, and Georgia prosecutors, with claims that witnesses, documents, and investigative strategies were shared. Nathan Wade's repeated response of "I don't remember" during sworn testimony was highlighted as a key concern. Opponents argued that this raised questions about transparency and accountability, suggesting the meetings deserved deeper investigation. The hearing also focused on former DOJ official Jeffrey Clark, who described legal and professional consequences following his involvement in election-related discussions. He spoke about federal investigations, legal fees, and disciplinary proceedings that followed his actions. Supporters argued his experience reflected broader concerns about political bias and the use of government power in legal disputes.
Is that right?
Millions in legal fees, 5 going on 6 years of legal proceedings in the bar.
And last July, D.C. recommended your disbarment, your 29-year law license potentially gone for writing a memo in the Department of Justice. Is that right?
Yes, for writing a privileged memo that was leaked by my political opponents.
Every Democrat involved in this process should be ashamed of the weaponization and the persecution that is occurring. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator, and I want to thank the witnesses for their testimony today.